Actor, film producer, talk show host, and outspoken Christian Kirk Cameron joins us today. Well, Kirk has recently faced some backlash because he just wanted to read his new book, his children's book, As You Grow, at libraries across America. You might have heard about it. Well, we're going to talk with Kirk all about his book, what's happening in the libraries, and he's also got a lot to say about patriotism, parenting, his family, which includes adoption. He's also got some great advice for moms. This is going to be great.
Welcome to the Moms for America podcast. Each week, special guests tackle the issues facing the moms of America today. Discussions include personal stories and advice on how moms can build a strong foundation of faith, family, and freedom in their homes and country.
Hi, moms. I'm Debbie Corlitis, your host, and thank you once again for joining us on the Moms for America podcast. We always love it when you come by and be a part of our podcast. So right here at the top of the show, I do always want to invite everybody to like and subscribe to our podcast. This is very important. Also, after you like and subscribe, it would be wonderful if you could go ahead and share this podcast with your friends. Let them know about the Moms for America podcast. We're here to serve you on your journey through motherhood and just supply resources for you as a mama. All right. I also want to invite our moms that are listening to join us here at the movement at Moms for America. We are moms uniting all across the country to fight for faith, family, freedom, and the Constitution. So please go ahead, check us out at momsforamerica.us, join the movement, and be a part of Moms for America. Also, if you have an idea for our podcast, if you have a topic or a suggestion, would you please email me at podcast@momsforamerica.net. That's how you can communicate with me, and I would love to hear from you. Actually, I have a great idea too. We have Kirk Cameron, of course, on the podcast today, and I'm going to do a special giveaway at the end of the podcast that's related to Monumental. So make sure you stay with us. Big giveaway at the end of the podcast. Well, alrighty, on to today's program. Well, in the 1980s, Kirk Cameron became known to millions as Mike Seaver on the popular sitcom Growing Pains. But that was just the start of his illustrious career. Since becoming a Christian during his time on Growing Pains, Kirk has spent the majority of the last 30 years or so focusing on media projects that revolve around faith, around family, and around freedom. I'm sure you're familiar with some of the many films that Kirk has done. Fireproof, for instance, a family favorite of ours, the Left Behind series, and Lifemark recently. Kirk has authored a popular children's book as well called As You Grow that teaches biblical principles. Well, I'm sure you heard about this, but despite long lines of excited parents and kids wanting to see him, some libraries have fought very hard against him and his children's book. But you know what? Kirk was not going to be silenced, and he was determined to be heard. Welcome to the Moms for America podcast, Kirk. We're so glad to have you and speak with you once again.
What am I doing on a mom's podcast? I feel like this is like an episode of Outnumbered or maybe The Bachelor or something like that. I don't know.
Well, you know, the moms love you. I mean, you've been traveling around the country with an incredible message that Moms for America resonates with, and a lot of our conservative moms that are concerned about their kids and their country. But first, Kirk, would you tell us a little bit about your family? You have got this wonderful family of adoption and birth and your wife. So tell us everybody, tell the moms about your tribe.
So my tribe, they are my people. My wife is my person. And she and I have been married for 32 years. We have 6 children. Our first 4 children we adopted, and then we had 2 kids ourselves. And they're all grown, and they're about a year apart. So our kids are 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, and 21. Some of them are married. They're living all over the country, different places, doing great things. And that's my family.
Yeah. Very, very, very impressive. And I love the adoption. I know the adoption is so important to you. You even recently, did a movie called Lifemark, celebrating the beauty of adoption.
That's right. Lifemark is a movie that came out in movie theaters this last summer, and it's based on the true story of an 18-year-old girl who changed her mind on the abortion table. She gave birth to her son and placed him for adoption, thinking that she'd never see him again. And then 19 years later, he connected with her, and she thought that he was going to be upset, maybe angry, maybe hating her for abandoning him and not raising him. But her fears were melted away when he gave her this loving embrace and said, "You're my hero. I came here to thank you for giving me my life, my family. I love my mom and my dad, and it's all because of you." And I got to play the adoptive father in that story, as well as produce it together with the Kendrick brothers, who are my buddies that made Fireproof, Courageous, War Room, and other Christian movies.
Yeah, I mean, so great. So moms, if you've not seen Lifemark, put it on your to watch list.
You'll love it. You'll absolutely love it if you're a mom. If you have that mom's heart for children and you love family, but I will give you a bit of a warning. It's a good 5 or 6 cries in the story that you're going to require a box of Kleenex, especially if you're a mom. I think dads too.
Pulls at your heartstrings. It
does.
Yeah. All right. So I want to let our moms know how we got a chance to meet you in person. So last in March here, we had the opportunity to honor you with a Legacy Award. Yay. At our gala in Branson. And you gave a great speech. You inspired the crowd. You talked about history and faith and your testimony.
They laughed, they cried.
It was such a great night. So thank you for coming.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me. And you honored me greatly. The work that you all do is so important. I'm so impressed at the tribe that you speak to and work together with, and all the great work that you're doing.
Right. And we always say this, Kirk, we focus on the mamas because we believe the moms are the heartbeat of the home. Not that we diminish the dads, because Lord knows we couldn't do it without the dads, but we really do. We want to, help the moms in their journey through motherhood. So one of the things I would love to talk with you about that was so powerful that evening in Branson is you shared your testimony. And I know that some of our moms know about you from the television days, but just where Christ took you. And when, you were kind of at the top of your game in Hollywood when you decided that you needed a savior. Is that correct? Am I summing that up correct?
Yeah. I like to think that maybe I wasn't on the top of my game at 17 years old. I like to think that I just get better with age, kind of like a fine wine,
Top of the game at 17, I should say. That's right.
No, I'm just playing with you. I am having a great time now, though, with the things that I'm doing. Much more fun than Mike Seaver ever had. But yes, and I think it's interesting to talk about faith in Hollywood, because often you hear stories in the news or in the National Enquirer about celebrities who find some kind of religion and they're into Kabbalah or they're into Scientology or they're into something that always sort of makes us raise an eyebrow and go, what is that? Or what? And that wasn't the case for me. I was an atheist who was not looking for God, did not feel a need for religion. And then I heard a message in a church that I wasn't expecting to go to. I thought I was going on a date with a pretty girl, and I wound up in church meeting her family, hearing a message that absolutely captivated me. And it was a message of love and mercy, kindness and forgiveness that drove me to my knees to ask a question of a God I didn't believe in. And my minister back in those days said to me, Kirk, if anyone ever asks you, how did you find God in Hollywood? Let me remind you, you didn't find God. He wasn't lost. You were, and he found you. And that's how I feel. I was lost wandering in the wilderness of Hollywood, California, the land of loose nuts and bolts. And God put me back together in a way that I'm so thankful for. I'm married, got kids, a family, a career, and I'm talking with you, joining with Moms for America to restore our free republic.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you look and you realize how bad it could have been. and
Oh,
but the grace of God, right? That's for all
right.
of us.
That's right. And that's how bad it's going to be for us in America, but for the grace of God.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that there's a slim chance or, this is a wing and a prayer. No, the grace of God has always been our hope as individuals, as husbands and wives, as families, and as churches and nations. God created this world. He has a plan. He has sacrificed much for the success of that plan, and his plan works through faithful moms and dads who carry his message and his mission to the ends of the earth. So what else are we going to do with our lives? Whatever else it could be, it wouldn't be as good.
No, Lord help us. You're right. This is the journey we are all on. So to God be the glory. And thank you for all your encouragement, because you are traveling around the country. So let me just kind of fast forward here. I want to mention Monumental, because that film that you did is really a big part of Moms for America. We talk about it in our cottage meetings. We provide it on our website for sale. Can you just mention a little bit about that and why you made it and why it's important for moms to share that in their four walls with their kids?
Well, I've reviewed the material for the cottage meetings, and it's just fantastic. It's inspirational. It is informative, and it's empowering. It's the kind of encouragement and inspiration that I think moms need for them to engage in positive action. So thank you for the cottage meetings. And
it's a great resource. Yeah.
Who lead them. Monumental was a documentary that I made simply because I was concerned about where our country was heading 10 years ago. It's still been heading in the wrong direction. And I attempted to find out what the most knowledgeable people with regard to liberty and blessing would tell us if they could be here. And I figured it would be the men and women who built this country, our our forefathers and foremothers, the Pilgrims. And so I retraced their escape route from England, where they experienced incredible tyranny, no liberty whatsoever, nothing like we have here. And they came to a wilderness instructed by a Bible on how to do family, how to do church, and how to do government. And they created the template for the freest, strongest, most blessed nation in the world. That's where we get our Declaration of Independence, was from their ideas and documents, and the Constitution of the United States, perhaps the greatest political document ever written. And Monumental is important to watch because it reveals the deactivation code for the woke machine that's destroying us now. It's the red pill to get out of the progressive matrix by going back to what they taught us from the beginning. And it starts with faith. It is then carried through with right morality, which is the foundation for good laws to protect us from evil. And then we must pass those values on and that faith on to our children. That is what produces lasting liberty, both internal liberty from greed, lust, power, wrath, gluttony, and pride, and external liberty from progressive, socialist, communist, tyrannical dictatorships like threaten to overtake our country now. So if you want to be on the winning team with the right solution, Monumental is a good tool for you to use.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is. It's in our store. We promote it. We talk about it all the time. So there you go, mamas. Get it in your collection and watch it with your family. It is lasting liberty. I love that line. All right, let's talk about the book, because, you've been in the news a bit lately. People kind of picking on you a bit for coming to a library to read an inspirational book to children.
Yeah, that's really what it is. It's inspirational. It's encouraging. It's called As You Grow. And it's a book to teach children biblical wisdom and the fruit of the Spirit. So for those who aren't familiar with what that is, that's a phrase in the Bible that refers to love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control. So if somebody wants to oppose one of those values, I guess that pulls back the curtain and shows us what they're about. And what must it be about?
That's a great reveal, isn't it? Because if you can't talk about this, but the drag queens can come in and talk about who knows what, how ridiculous.
What it also reveals, though, is that many people, good people, even within the family of faith, are more comfortable complaining about the culture than they are creating the culture. Educating children is our job. That
Right.
this decline and this deconstruction of the morals and values of America has happened on our watch as parents. This was not supposed to happen. Government is not in charge of creating good and moral people. The function of government is simply to be a wall,
Right.
wall of protection to protect the good that families create and families of faith preserve and keep out the evil. But when we neglect our job and we outsource parenting to government institutions that are run by progressives, they take over the function of the family, and then we're dead in the water. So we can't do that. We've got to take back our children. I would say the first thing you do is pull them out of the public education system. And I say that as someone who is so grateful for public education teachers, like my father, who's a public education teacher, and my grandma and grandpa, who are public school teachers. But this ain't your grandma and grandpa's public schools anymore. They have completely re-engineered the pipeline, which has always been the plan, to indoctrinate your children from the time they're in preschool, which is why you see drag queens coming and teaching 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds in libraries and in schools. It's always been the plan. So take back your children, take back education, take back the family. And I'm thankful for Moms for America who can help you do this.
Right. And you took your kids out of public school completely. You're a big advocate for homeschooling.
Yeah, we can. You know, if I don't want my daughter to become a stripper, why would I send her to strip club school? If I don't want my children to become, what one friend said, if you send your children to Caesar, don't be surprised when they come back Romans. It's a 7 and 8 hour discipleship camp that is teaching them to hate your God, hate your family, and hate your country, literally. And you're paying for it with your tax dollars. They're taking your money and training your children to hate everything that you treasure. So why do that? And fortunately, so many people have woken up to this. There are homeschooling conferences and networks, private schools that are cropping up. Churches are starting schools everywhere. Teachers are exiting the woke and broke machine so that they have the opportunity to teach truth and goodness and beauty to children all over the country. We can stick together and we can do this side by side. And again, I'm just so thankful for the encouragement and the inspiration that Moms for America provides.
All right. I know I'm on a time limit with you. I've got 2 quick questions for you still?
Sure,
Okay. All right. Because I know tell the audience, where are you at? You got to tell us where you're at.
Yeah, I'm at the Billy Graham Library.
It's beautiful. He was showing us the back.
I'm going to show you just how beautiful it is because I'm on a laptop. So I'm going to show you. Check this out.
A little tour here with Kirk Cameron. How about it?
Can you see that in the background?
Yes.
Okay. I can't quite see what you see.
No, I see it. I see it. It's beautiful.
Okay. So, okay. So anyway, so it's beautiful. You can see it. Good. I just can't see it.
Yeah.
There it is. So we're at the Billy Graham Library and we're going to be reading a copy of my book, As You Grow, and previewing a brand new book that's coming out next month with my publishing partner, Brave Books. And
it's great.
It's going to be coming out and it's going to be really exciting. And it's perfectly timed with things going on in the nation right now.
Oh, man. Love it. Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing. And we share all of this information with our moms on a constant basis here. So 2 last things. You talk about patriotism and freedom so passionately, the blessings of America. How can we, because you do such a good job on this around the campfire and so on and so forth, speaking around the country, how do we as parents really communicate the importance of patriotism and freedom and liberty to our kids?
Well, I'm so glad you said to your kids because you still have the opportunity and the freedom to exercise your loving, benevolent authority in your children's lives. The government has not taken your children yet, right? Yeah. And that's ultimately where authoritarian governments go. Just look at China. Just look at dictatorships, communist countries. They see your children as property of the country, of the state. In fact, our president in the United States literally said that to a group of teachers, that we've got to get past this this private idea that children belong to their parents and understand that they're our children. They're our children.
Unreal.
That is the, it takes a village nonsense. No, it takes a mom. It
Yeah.
takes a dad. It takes a family of faith, and get your hands off my babies.
That's right.
That's the attitude we must have. And so what I would say is host a cottage meeting or join one, because the long-term sustained, consistent teaching of truth and correct principles are what are going to make lasting change. It's not a flash in the pan event or just a library reading here and there. Remember, the progressives and the drag queens are at the public libraries every week, every month for years.
Yeah.
Showing up, on a white horse with a book about the fruit of the Spirit is not going to do it. My hope is that I can be a spark to light a torch that gets passed on from one home to the next, to where we have a wildfire of revival that breaks out across the country. That's what our hope is. And I think that's what God gets behind. He's not interested in letting people have so much freedom that they just get to do whatever they want. That just leads to anarchy. What God wants, as he says in his word, is pure hearts and clean hands. He wants us to love him first and love one another, considering others' needs more important than our own. That's the goal. And I think that the only way we do that long term is by holding on to our children and raising them up in the way they should go.
Yeah. Well, as you grow, Brave Books, cottage meetings, all of these collective resources are ways that moms can just raise liberty-minded kids that love God, love family,
that's right,
love country.
And you know what else? I want to say this. I'm not just a pie in the sky optimism guy. I'm exercising what actual faith is, and that's believing the promises of God. And he has said to his people in the past, if you will just humble yourselves, forget about the progressives, forget about those who are the enemies of liberty and the destroyers of freedom, just humble yourself. Will you turn from your wicked way, Kirk, Pam, Jeff, Catherine, Chelsea, and put your eyes up here on me, seek me with all your heart. I'll hear your prayers for rescue. I'll hear your prayers for your children. I'll forgive your sins, and I'll heal your land. So I think that this national setback we are experiencing is really a divine setup for a spiritual comeback led by the family of faith.
I love that, because we have to know that there's hope. Otherwise we give up, right? And we know the end of the book. We know that God wins, but we just have to be participants in this culture and in this mission to save our kids and save America.
And he doesn't just win in the end. He is the hero throughout the story.
You're right.
The victory and the winning is now. He says that we're more than conquerors through him who loved us, and that we can overcome evil with good. We don't have to be subjected to tyranny, and we don't need to resort to revolution. There is a bloodless revolution that can take place, and it's called revival. And it starts in the heart, and it works its way out. It's what gave birth to this country, and it's what will sustain us.
Yes, and amen. I think I'll let you end on that note, because it was so powerful. Unless you have any last closing words of advice to our moms that maybe feel discouraged, that would be my last ask for you. Well,
what you all are doing is so important. I'll finish with a quote from Gandalf the Grey. If you're into a little Middle Earth wisdom, he said, "There are other evils that will come, for even Sauron himself is but a servant or an emissary. Yet it is not our part to master all the tides of the world, but rather to do what is in us for the help of those years wherein we have been set, uprooting the evil in the fields we know, that those who live after us may have clean earth to till. What weather they shall have is not ours to rule." And that's what you're doing at Moms for America. Is you are not tasked with mastering the defeat of every evil force in the world, because there are legion of those. But what you are tasked with, and I'm tasked with, is to do everything within our power during the years God's put us on earth to uproot evil in the places that we know so that our children will have clean earth to build on. And they'll be ready for the weather, culturally, politically, morally, economically, that God sends them as their ruler because they've been trained by faithful moms and dads.
That's it. It begins in the home and it ends in the home. That's what we say to our mamas. You know, this is your sanctuary.
That's right.
Go do the best that you can with God's power and God's strength.
That's right. Hope does not begin at the White House. It begins at your house.
I love that. I'm going to borrow that. All right. Thank you, Kirk, for stopping by and chatting with us. I know you are one busy guy. So hello to the family. Thank you to you. God bless you and all that you do. We so appreciate you here at Moms for America.
Thank you. God bless you too.
All right. Well, you can see why we are fans of Kirk Cameron. What a great guy. Thanks again, Kirk, for talking with our moms. You are an inspiration. Thanks for fighting for family, faith, and freedom. You're doing a great job. Well, more and more, you know, we hear this all the time that Americans are becoming less patriotic. We talked about that today and the problems that are facing our culture and our society. We talked about the cottage meetings with Kirk, and he loves them, and we love them too. So let me tell you about them. The cottage meetings are a signature program. They are 12 lessons that will truly inspire and educate you about America's amazing heritage so that you can share those principles of liberty in your home and in your community. This program is amazing, and you can just check it all out on our website. Look for cottage meetings. It's online. You can do them in your home with a booklet. You can do them online with Julene. I mean, they're killer. Also, this program, and we have a lot of other programs, Healing of America, Cottage for Kids, all kinds of stuff are all on our website, and they will help you impact your family in a very powerful way. So go ahead and check that out on our website, which is momsforamerica.us. We say this every week to remind you, from parental rights to public policy, you know, from your kitchen table to Congress, we have all the information that you need to affect your community and to affect your home. Along with, when you visit our website, you'll see our other resources that I mentioned. You can go ahead and sign up for our email, which is very important. This is how we communicate with you. We'll let you know about podcasts, webinars, seminars. We travel around the country, coast to coast, teaching moms about America and about freedom and about liberty and homeschooling and just about everything. Seriously, when I tell you Moms for America has it all, we really do. So sign up for our newsletter. That's a weekly newsletter, and we will help you each week with different topics and issues. Alrighty, so how about this? On to our giveaway. I want to do some giveaway here today. So for the listeners that are with us, or if you're watching, whatever it may be, for the first 10 people that email me at podcast@momsforamerica.net, I will get you a copy of the Monumental DVD. So go to podcast@momsforamerica.net. Send me an email. The first 10 people will get the DVD emailed to you. Plus, I might throw in a bumper sticker or something else too. But I do need you to include your name and your address, and we will get that out to you. Again, giving away 10 Monumental DVDs if you email us at podcast@momsforamerica.net. Fun. I love those. All right. Well, moms, we say this every week. We believe truly that liberty begins at home, and that moms, you are truly the heartbeat of America. That is why this movement is so important, and it is so influential, because it is moms like you changing history, really raising generations of patriots and saving our country. We love that about you, moms. All right. Would you please like and subscribe, share a podcast with your mama friends? I know there's many of us that grew up with Kirk Cameron, so let them know that Kirk was on the Moms for America podcast, so share this. All righty. Well, would you please join me next week for another inspiring, informative discussion with moms or dads for you. It's going to be great always. So thank you so much for joining us. We say this every week because we really do mean it. You're the heartbeat of your home, mamas. Let's keep changing our world one home at a time, and I will talk to you soon.